Want to keep up with the latest LEGO Mega 96.1 videos? Make sure to subscribe and ring that bell. Hello everyone, LEGO Mega 96.1 here with another video. And welcome back to another On This Day in History. Now, for this video in particular, I'm going to cover over two events that played out on this day. The first one being Nazi Germany's invasion of Poland in 1939, and discovery of the Titanic wreck site in 1985, just years apart from major conflicts. Now, I'm going to go over these in chronological order because it will make a whole lot of sense. To begin with, Nazi Germany invaded Poland on September 1st, 1939, thus beginning World War II. To begin with, and how Germany invaded Poland, let's travel back through time. Now, as we all know, World War I ended on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. In translation, it means November 11th, 1918. But the thing is, it ended in an armistice, meaning like there's a truce, but no more fighting. But Germany, being one of the members of the Central Powers, was responsible for these war crimes, which they have committed. So as punishment, they were forced to pay off war debts, and they were stripped of their military, meaning they have no army, no marines, no air force, which didn't no nothing. So basically, they were punished severely. And as they were punished, the country of Germany was in a downward spiral. Inflation was going up over there. Everything was in anarchy. Somewhat. But while Germany was on the verge of tearing itself apart, there was one party in particular that somehow rose from the ashes, and that was the National Socialist Party, which we know today as the Nazis. Now, among the members who joined was Adolf Hitler. That's this guy right here, and one of the most hated men in the world. Oh, trust me, he's on that list. Now, Hitler was born in Austria, but he moved to Germany because he wanted to fight. Now, he was Lance Corporal of a German army. And in this war, which was World War I, by the way, he was wounded by a gas attack. Now, mind you, gas attacks did exist in World War I, but somehow it was outlawed due to the Geneva Convention, which outlawed gas warfare indefinitely. But that didn't stop the Nazis from committing war crimes. Oh, you're going to act like the Nazis were good people, but in truth, they were bad. Real bad. Don't believe me? Watch Nuremberg, and you will see why the Nazis were terrible people. Now, Hitler entered that party as a spy, seeing what they were up to. But these people were just expressing their views on how they should run Germany in their own way. Gee, does that sound familiar? But when Hitler spoke out, he shared his own views. Now, among the views that he had, his hatred towards those of Jewish descent. Now, it was there that he became head of the Nazi Party, and he and his people plotted to overthrow the German government and to run it in their own image. Gee, does that sound familiar? Now, one of their attempts was the infamous Beer Hall Putsch in 1923, which of course ended in a failure. Gee, does that sound familiar? Oh yeah, I'm targeting that. Now, in response, Hitler was imprisoned for his actions, and during his time in jail, he wrote a book called Mein Kampf, My Struggle. Now, before I go on any further, I just want to get one thing out of the way. I don't speak German. I know a few words in German, but I don't speak the entire German language. So if I butcher any German names or any German town wrong, I apologize. deeply, and I assure you, it won't happen again. Now, as the Nazis continued to grow more members and more powerful, Hitler was released from jail and continued his role as leader of the Nazi Party. Now, he and the Nazis continued to commit the crimes throughout Germany, but it wasn't until 1933 that Hitler became Chancellor of Germany, which they entitled him as Der Führer, or my leader as it translates in German. Now Hitler was in charge of all Germany. He put his laws into action. He puts his own people in power, or so nothing can stop him. Gee, does that sound familiar? So, what the Nazis did, they expanded their empire all throughout Europe, like Austria, Czechoslovakia, France, until later in Poland. Now, September 1st, 1939, Germany invaded Poland, thus beginning World War II. Though here's another fact that you didn't know. The Soviet Union invaded Poland as well. Oh, I kid you not, they actually did that. The Soviet Union invaded Poland from the east, while the Nazis invaded from the west. Coincidence? Thus begins a war between the Axis powers and the Allied forces. Now, the war continued on until 1945, which Italy was defeated, was kicked out of the fight. And Germany was defeated, which was ended in a surrender, although Japan continued until they surrendered in September of 1945. Word of advice, don't do what the Axis powers did. If you don't, bad karma will come to you. Major bad karma. Now that I got that out of the way, onto the Titanic. Now, for those who don't know, growing up, I was fascinated with the Titanic. I basically watched and read everything Titanic known to man. That includes every Titanic documentary, every Titanic movie, every Titanic book, anything that has to do with Titanic. Now, for those who don't know what that ship is, I'll explain in detail. It was an Olympic-class liner that was made by Harland and Wolff and was set on its ill-fated maiden voyage in 1912. And on this ill-fated maiden voyage, it struck an iceberg and sank in the Atlantic, taking the lives of 1,496 people. Word of advice, don't go fast, go slow. Now, the ship was lost to time, meaning they don't know where it is. Now, there were many attempts to find the wreckage, but none were successful. But however, one was close enough. So, Dr. Ballard and his team were dispatched to finding the wreckage, but more importantly, they were sent to find out two submarines that were lost during. They found out two submarines went missing in action. That is to do with the Thrasher and the Scorpion. Even though they found the submarines, they had all this free time to find the Titanic. Now, it was on this day they actually found the Titanic in two pieces, which confirmed many survivors' accounts that the Titanic did indeed split in two. Now, mind you, there was a movie that was released called Raise the Titanic, which was a science fiction movie and a novel that, of course, has to do with raising the Titanic from the depths and preserving it. But, like I said before in the Singing the Titanic movie, here's the reason you don't want to do it. Here's multiple reasons. First of all, it's in pieces. Now, as we all know, when the Titanic sank in 1912, the ship split in two, and it went down in two pieces. That's number one. Number two, it's a grave. Do you really want to disturb the grave of where 1,496 people died? No, you don't. The best way to preserve the Titanic is through many books, many movies, including photos and 3D renderings of the ship itself. I mean, I get it. You want to preserve the legacy of the Titanic. All of us do. I mean, even though I've phased out of the Titanic, I still have a soft spot for it. But you can't raise the Titanic because, I mean, look at the deterioration of the ship now. If it even reaches the surface, it'll just collapse right as soon as it hits the air. So basically, that's off the table. And don't even think, oh, we can build a museum around it. No. The Titanic is a grave and a memorial. That's not happening. Okay? So all the ideas about raising the Titanic, get it out of your head. Just get it out. It's gone. Forget it. The best is to remember the ship before it disappears completely. Like it's like a big orange stain on the sea floor. So there you go. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And that concludes this video. Now, if you enjoyed this video or want to see more like this, including many other videos that I've done on my channel, please feel free to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell notifications so that way you can be notified when I upload the next video. And as always, this is LEGO Mega 961 signing off.